Hello and welcome to another webinar session. Thank you for taking time and joining us for today's webinar. My name is Sansia and I'm part of the marketing team at Factana. The topic for today's webinar is Manufacturing 4.0, specifically focusing on production monitoring and optimization solution. This webinar will be presented by Mr. Hariharan Ganesh, who is the founder and chief architect of Factana. Without further ado, over to you, Hari.
Thank you, Sansia. Hello, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are watching or wherever you are going to watch this video later at our YouTube channel. So this is an exciting topic, especially at this time. Production monitoring and optimization is one of the critical manufacturing process that is expected by the top management, especially after the pandemic, as the industries are went through a lot of hurdles now, and now it's a time for to recover from the losses. And so to recover from the losses, efficiency is critical. Creating products and delivering products and filling the demands is very critical to increase the efficiency, increase the profitability, increase the financial status of the manufacturing companies. Before we begin, we are Factana, an Industry 4.0 platform provider. We are specialized in industrial IoT-based solutions, technologies, and we are also a platform provider. So we provide software platform that can be accessible by any community users to create and implement the IoT-based solutions. Following is our industrial IoT platform, which comes with Analytics Studio. We also provide, especially from the Industry 4.0 standpoint, we provide additional software solutions to manufacturing and industries, such as SFactrix, which is what we are going to see that today on how we can leverage SFactrix solution or SFactrix application for production monitoring and optimization. We are also, one-stop shop provider, which means that we provide end-to-end hardware, communication network, as well as the software solutions, which are cloud-based software solutions that we run to customers to provide everything from one vendor and take ownership on managing the total infrastructure for the customer. That's our core strength. That's our focus area as well. And we have been talking about Industry 4.0 as the transformation is unavoidable now. Every manufacturing industry or any industry, production industry, should start focusing on transforming their current operations into more digital operations. So we have been advising customers on this area. Before I get into the actual production monitoring, how we do that using our platform and solutions, I like to take a time to talk about the importance of this, especially after the pandemic. There are two cases that I would like to take up today and discuss about that. So first case is as everybody knows, that are many of the US-based manufacturers or people in the field aware of that global chip shortage. And stock shortage is the biggest problem now in automakers, as the chips are not available that are very crucial for the modern automotives or cars and trucks. The availability of this chip is significantly impacting the production rate. This was unplanned due to pandemic, as well as lack of planning on the global supply chain. It is very well impacting the global market, especially North America. North America has been impacted more than 33% as the consumer, and Europe as well. So Europe also 36% is impacted because the two major regions where the automotive consumption is highly impacted. So production production is heavily impacted here, and there is a huge loss. Even after pandemic, there is huge loss because of the chips are not available. The production run rate went down. Cost of operations has 3 times higher due to this loss, and automakers are really struggling on this in this situation, and everything is because of unplanned, unpredicted supply chains and manufacturing supply chains in the chip market. Second most important thing that National Association of Manufacturers in US published this survey, and they have assessed the post-COVID impacts and how much the COVID has impacted the market, and what is that what is the current situation in the manufacturing sectors. Especially heavy financial losses. Everybody knows that heavy financial loss in every business, especially manufacturing, as they are more on physically the machines has to be operated, the operators has to go to the physical centers or factory setups to operate that, and due to lockdown and other things they could not reach, and total production has been stopped. Because of that, 78% of financial impacts are there across industry as well as across the manufacturing setup especially. Second most thing is change in operations because of this pandemic, because of the way that operations happened so far. Now this is not going to be the same way. The importance is increased 3 times higher on remote operations, remote monitoring, as the pandemic has completely shifted the whole world operations into a different way of looking at that. So 53% of manufacturers are expecting would like to change their operations model, but everybody is they know what they are doing so far, but when coming to this current situation, which is nobody has faced before, and now the question is how do you change that, how to change the operations model, or where to touch and what to touch, and how do we improve it. It should not again take the manufacturers or production process further down into the deep. So it's important to understand first on what currently we are doing or how we are doing, and then apply the changes into the organization process to improve the efficiency of the operations. The third one is the supply chain disturbance, right? As we talked about the global chip shortage, right? Similarly, other supply chains, because everybody, right? The raw material manufacturing is down, and the slow manufacturing happens because slowly they are recovering it. The actual goods, consumer goods are very slow in production, but that impacts the cost to all the consumers as well, because the supply is very low, the cost of raw materials are very high. Obviously it's all impacting that. So this is global economic problem that we should address it collectively on across all industries, especially manufacturing and related supplies. So when you look at the production monitoring, right, so that's the importance, right? So because we know that we have struggled due to pandemic, now we are coming back to the production operations, we are starting the productions, but we have to understand that we need to change, we have to apply the changes, we need to improve our efficiency to recover from the financial losses that we have done last 2 years now. How do you improve it? So what are things we need to look at that, right? The 4 key things that we should look at. The first one is demand fulfillment. The demand fulfillment is a major portion, because when we're getting orders, we need to on time deliver customers. On time delivery in the sense like we should have all efficiency things happen in that. The materials should be available on time, the production has to be efficient, the lead time has to be improved, and that triggering, that basically triggered by 3 components, right? The quality of production. The more quality of products that we produce, the demand can be fulfilled faster, right? The more scrap quantities, the production has to extend beyond its committed timeline, and that is going to delay the demand fulfillment. The maintenance or downtime, right? The downtime of the machines to prevent the downtime, right? We cannot have breaks and casual loading, resetting things happen, which we before pandemic. Now if you are looking at improving the efficiency, we need to put more focus towards the availability of the machines, and how efficiently we are using the machines, how efficiently we are aligning our process to feed the raw materials to the machine, so that the machine can produce it, as well as the machine can also properly track on the availability, especially usage utilizations, to understand the criticality of the machine, and when and where we have to do the preventive maintenance works, right? That is very important. The last part is the maintenance. Usually the maintenance cost is really high. As always, manufacturers that we spoke always talked about this maintenance cost as one of the critical thing they want to reduce it, but at the same time the traditional preventive maintenance model, which is basically a periodic maintenance activities, right? That always leads the cost, and also the uncertainty on the failures. So to address that, we need to look at more of a prediction based model rather than preventive based model. So we need to lower the maintenance cost by predicting based on the machine usage. We don't need to go for scheduled time. We need to go for based on the usage of the machines. So the utilization of the machine is critical to understand how effectively the machine is utilized and what is the next predicted maintenance cycle. That is very important to lower the cost on the maintenance. So when coming to the production monitoring, right, there are 4 key things that we need to look at, right? So one is the availability of the machines, number 1, the maintenance activities, and then the quality of the product that we are producing, and the lead time that to produce the product, right? The number of how much time it takes to produce a particular item. So how much time it requires. So that 4 things are very important for us to understand. To do that, we need to measure that all 4 of them, right? All 4 of them, we have to understand how we are doing and how we are operating from the production monitoring aspect of it. And that's where the production monitoring impacts is important for us. When coming to the demand, right? Because demand is the biggest one, right? Demand fulfillment. Now, what could cause the demand fulfillment issues? And basically, what could cause the production issues, right? So what could cause the production issues? One is number 1, as we see, that machine failure. Number 2 is reloading, setup and reloading. How much time we are taking, or the operator is taking, to set up machines or load the raw materials to the machines, or tuning the machines itself, right? So how much time it takes for them, and what is the time difference, right? And how much they are consuming, or how much time they are taking in a daytime or in a shift based. So we need to start tracking those smaller pieces also, because each and every minute is important in manufacturing today to fulfill the volume of demand, also to compete with the competitors and delivering faster to customers. Break time and stop time. How efficiently break time and stop time is utilized. We should have a tracking mechanism. How much production rate is that, run rate is that, right? So let's take the lead time for a particular item. Production is taking, let's take minute, it's 100 quantities, or maybe minute 1 quantity, whatever it is, right? So it depends upon the product that we are manufacturing. So we should measure it, how much time it is taking, consumed to produce it, how efficiently we can improve that. That also connected with the lead with the setup time and reload time. But we need to measure it, right? Or maybe we need to fine tune that. So how do we capture that lead time, the actual lead time, not the definition of lead time, actual lead time of the machines, or actual lead time of a particular one quantity that we are producing from the machines. So how much time it is taking now, and how do you fine tune that? That we should monitor. And that could also creating impact on the demand fulfillment, because the cost, the more lead time, the cost of the manufacturing cost will increase. And then obviously it will reduce the profitability on the selling price, because the sales has already happened. So that is very critical for us to understand how much time we can reduce on the lead time to create a product more efficiently. How much quality that we can produce it, right? How much quality of product we can produce it? What's our current quality percentage? The scrap level, how much scrap level? What is causing the scrap? And how do we prevent the scraps creation? How do we mitigate that so that we can produce more quality product? That means more quickly we can fulfill the demands, right? So the quality, reducing the quality or the scrap items is very, very important. And we need to have a tracking mechanism or monitoring mechanism to understand that. The last one is job timeline, right? Every job that we assign to the operators, what is the timeline it's required to complete that particular? This is very crucial to understand how the job timeline is impacting to the overall process. Also, how job lines are going to impact the demand fulfillment, especially orders, right? The work orders and jobs has to complete to fulfill the work orders. The work order has to be completed on time to deliver that product to the customer. So it is very crucial for us to understand what is the timeline of it. Not only that, the same job timeline will help us to understand or plan the work orders timeline effectively, instead of giving a false promise to customer and then not delivering on time. So end of the day, we should have an eye on all of these 6 areas as part of the operational monitoring, as part of the production monitoring as well. So, but it's more important is real-time information, right? Of course, a lot of practice manufacturing process and practitioners, they would have followed some of them in a way to capture that information. But it is not a real-time information. Probably end of the day, they may get a report. Maybe end of the week, they may get a report. So it depends upon how efficiently they are, how mature the operations is. But real-time information, so instantly I should have the visibility in what is my production run rate, what is my timeline, what is my quality percentage. So we should have all those real-time information, and that's very crucial for the going forward operations. And that's when we are talking about industry 4.0 or based transformation, which is basically a digital transformation to capture all this data in real time, and then analyze the data real time, and then producing the data and presenting to the decision makers to take decisions faster. That automatically increases the overall efficiency of the overall efficiency. But we all talk theories, right? So we are fantastic. Everything looks good from the theoretical standpoint. But what is the practical challenges, right? So there are practical challenges out there, right? Because manufacturers, they know very well what is the problem that they are facing, and where they why they are not they're not getting real-time information. So now let's look at what are the problems are there, right? And how do we address that to implement the real-time production monitoring, or to enable this kind of metrics collections? What kind of problems are there? Number one is the machines, right? The machines may be created, it's maybe a fully automated machineries. It may be fully automated PLC SCADA systems that can gather information, collect all the informations, that produce all the data that is there. But when you have multiple machineries in the overall process, right, from different vendors deployed different machineries, each one has their own language of data and type of data, right? How do we consolidate all those data? How do we process it as a uniformly, right? That's the biggest challenge. So either it's a fully automated manufacturing setup, or the legacy machines that are being there, which are more of a manual process that are being used by the operators. So both are challenges, both have limitations, and both has to be connected to the through the IoT solutions to consolidate the data. Because when you are looking at the data sets that we are looking at, right, we need a runtime of the machines, we need availability of the machines, maintenance information, we need what is the operation level, setup time, break time, operators, operating model, the number of products produced, scrap quantities. These are all distributed environment, right? These are all in different places where these data are there. So we need to consolidate all of them. You need to come up with the overall metrics on that, or overall efficiency identification on that, right? So still there should be an integration with all the machines to consolidate the data. Second thing is lack of processes. So the process aspect of that, right? Not just collecting the data. How do we apply this data? How do we identify the gaps? And how do we take the gaps back into the process? How do we address it? So we don't know, right? So how do we address it? Or lack of process itself that followed in the organization, which is preventing to collect the data from the machines, which is preventing to the, because some kind of team groups or the process that's not allowing us to capture the data in the way that the data has to be collected and processed to identify the maturity of the organization. So there may be lack of process in the organization that is impacting the real-time production monitoring. Budget is one of the biggest concern also everywhere, right? As after post-pandemic, the budget is the biggest questions that they should address it. So budget may biggest question. Yes, of course, we need a more efficient, cost-effective, low-cost solution. But at the same time, it should fulfill the need of the real production monitoring, right? So how do we reduce the cost of deploying these kind of new technologies? Because post-pandemic, manufacturers are limited with the budget, and they were not able to put a big budget to implement a complete transformation, right? Change all the machines to digital machines. It's not possible at all, right? So this is definitely a question. And the last one is the skilled workforce. Especially, the operators are traditionally operated in a way that they operate. Now, suddenly, if you go and enforce them to change some different process, they may get confused. They may not have that idea why and what we are doing. So educating the workforce is important, making this workforce as a skilled workforce before we apply any digital practice, into the organization. So digital practice is not just a technology, it is also the operational aspect of that. It's also the skill level. We need to improve the skill level of the workforces to understand and use the tools that they provided to the operators. So they should know that how to use the tools if we provide a digital platform for them, and when and what they should do that. So the workforce skilling, making the workforce efficiently working is very important, not just a technology on that aspect of that. Okay, so we are this is where the role of SFactrix is coming into picture. SFactrix is a manufacturing production monitoring solution. Of course, this is not a manufacturing execution system. This is more of manufacturing process monitoring, efficiency monitoring solution. Of course, it works with other systems to capture the information and collect the information and then consolidate. It's based on IoT solution, as well as it's available on app-based solutions. So either IoT is too early to adapt. So if the manufacturer is looking for more simple solution to start with before they even realize that, and that's where we are providing app-based solutions as well. So instead of writing ledgers, writing notes and ledgers, or keep tracking in Excel sheet and other things, the operators can and the administration can take the digital solution, put an app on the tablets or on the phone, and then capture the information and put it on the system, the cloud system, so and automatically look at the performance metrics and all. So all of them is done with in the SFactrix system. The product itself is created with the intention of addressing both IoT and non-IoT use cases, to help the customer manufacturers to quickly adapt the solution and start using it. Once they are confident, they can go for fully digital model or fully automated digital model with the help of industrial IoT connectivity, which also we are providing as part of our solutions. And some of the key functionalities, right, in the SFactrix solution are, I'm going to show a demo. So, but before that, some of the key functionalities are work order management. So how do we capture the work order? Part management, job tracking. How do we track the job assignment, job tracking? And then, providing controls to the operators for them to report the production quantity, qualities, quality checks, as well as reporting on the machine failures, and that automatically triggers the maintenance request and maintenance entries for the maintenance team to come and look at the issues and challenges, and tracking the maintenance activities and how frequently we are doing maintenance, what is the gap between the maintenance, so what kind of different problems are coming from the machines, to track all of them. So and obviously that result in any significant alert to the support team, technical team, as well as the managers, to understand if there is any downtime reported. Instantly people attention go to the machine and then solve the problem quickly, so that the production can continue and meet the demands. And of course the different roles involved in this, and then so they have a different things like that. So a lot more things are there, but generally these are overall functions provided. Especially in the context of this webinar, right? So we are looking at the operational efficiency, how do we monitor and how do we optimize the production operations, right? So from that aspect of that, we are providing a different metrics, 3D view of the metric on the production performance metrics that can be used to take decisions quickly on that. So not just one particular data such as OEE data, which is on performance based. So by default, the system provides the OEE metrics and availability, quality against each and every assets. So we can track all the assets and performance. And not only that, but also the system is providing a time-based, because time is critical here from the manufacturing standpoint. So time-based metrics, which are like a runtime versus downtime, how much this particular machine down today, how much is the running time, and what is the quality of the product it's produced, how long the quality of produced, or cost of quality of the product, net runtime in the sense like how total quantity produced today, how much the machine is taking time to process it, right? That basically impacting the lead time. Basically it's against the lead time. And then the loss based metrics, right? Sometimes we should know that what is the loss also, not just the performance, what is the loss that we have made, because the investment is made already on the machineries. So tracking them and understanding them is on the usage of that, or maximizing the usage of the machines is important, right? So total availability time versus actual performance it's become lost on the particular day, right? That machine is not fully efficiently utilized. So it should be identified that, because this is a direct way to identify, oh, I'm in this much time, this particular machine is not used at all. So how can I use this machine for other activities, right? Multitasking, multi-production aspect of that. So that may help us to fulfill other product manufacturing, or maybe fulfill other demand fulfillment, right? Aspect of that. So understanding the performance, time, and loss are critical to make additions. So it's all around production and the asset and efficiency of the asset, as well as operators quality process, right? Quality level, right? To understand all of them. We provide 3 different type of metrics, and each one has a different charts and things. It's all user driven, and it's all user can create. User can look at different aspect of that. Now let's go to the demo. So I will go show a quick demo. So just a note, we have already done a elaborative demo about the SFactrix product previously in a couple of webinars before. So if this is the first time you are watching this webinar and you have not seen our SFactrix full demo, you can go to our YouTube channel and you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can find in your YouTube channel the SFactrix full demo is there, or a smart factory solution full demo is there, where we have provided the step-by-step instruction on how to create set up the manufacturing setup and how to run the production operations there. Today, in this context, in this webinar context, we are going to show overall like metrics aspect of that, on how and where we can go and look at different metrics and what kind of different things are there, right? So we can look at that. Let me go to the quickly on that. So as I said, I'm not going to show on how to set up organization. I already have a setup ready running, but I'm going to show on where we can go and look at the production monitoring aspect of that, how we can look at the different data sets and identify the optimization aspect of that. That's the context that I'm going to cover up in this demo. If you are this is the first time you are seeing that, this is our product solution called SFactrix, smart factory solution. So once you logged in, I have logged in as a plant admin. Right now I'm in the view of plant admin, but once you have a different views, so you can log in as a plant admin, or the production line admin, or administration aspect of it, or you may sign in as an operator also. So you can have a different view of looking at the system at the different aspect of that. So let me refresh this. So I have okay, so now I have the data is coming up. So just to do the quick run through, right? So if you go to settings, you can see all the organization setups. You can have plant, work centers, asset. We introduced in this version, the current version that I am showing today, we have introduced the part management. Part management also is critical for us to understand. In the part management, you can manage your product that you are producing, either parent product or child product, and how you can lead that. One of the critical thing is here, you should see that there is a lead time. So this particular entry, right, is very critical. I can show one of the existing data probably. Yeah, you can see the lead time. So lead time is critical entry, because when you are creating, when you're planning on the product, you can understand, okay, this particular product, if I have to make this much time is required for me. The same data can be used for work order creation, as well as to commit to the customer based on the customer order quantity, right? So a customer is giving 5,000 quantity orders, then how much time it will take in the manufacturing setup to produce it. So this is more on from the manufacturing. Of course, supply chain time also should be added from the delivery standpoint, but from the production standpoint, how much time it requires to produce it. This lead time has to be properly updated based on the production performance. So that way, the sales team or the order processing team can understand the current efficiency level of the manufacturing setup to commit to the customer. So this is very critical part that we should enter here accurately. Therefore, the sales process is working efficiently on that. And also, you have a parent or child products. Depends upon the product, you can also enter the data. You can capture the basic information about the parts or the materials. You also have a supply information. So where you can also enter this particular product is more of manufactured by this particular manufacturer, so they don't have any supply information. But if you have a supply information, you can also enter. Let's take, you are buying some raw materials from the supplier to make another product, right? So you can still enter that. Or sometimes, we buy a suppliers, just send the product item itself, this child item itself. That item will be used for the other assembling units. So if it's more of assembling manufacturing or process manufacturers, right? Process-oriented manufacturers, they don't manufacture, right? They basically collect it and assembling together, right? The process-oriented manufacturing companies, like food processing companies. So they collect all the material. So they can use this system to capture the supply information. The reason why supply information also is that as we are working on our subsequent releases, we have a financial reporting is coming. So we are working on some financial reports. The data that we capture here are specific to the financial report, especially the price, manufacturing cost, the supplier cost, the selling cost. We are capturing that so that we can use this data to come up with the financial metrics at later point. So we already provisioned that. So if you are using the system, you can start configuring it for later part. You get a fantastic financial reports and overall cost of manufacturing reports and other things. Okay, so and also you can set up your work order, jobs, all the stuff here. So you can, the way that you need to work on when you're signing in first time, you will see a guided tour that will guide you on how to set up. So you have to set up a plant, work center, asset, parts. That's a basic setup. One-time setup, you have to do that. And every time you can create a work order and jobs. Jobs belongs to the work orders, just for quick understanding on this. So you can quickly create a jobs work orders here. So I already created a work order. So you can see here my work order. Yeah, I have already created a work order. Multiple work orders I have created it, which are in progress. I also created I also created the jobs. There are multiple jobs are created against a work order against a particular asset. So when you're creating a job, you need to select the asset and work orders. The operators are default assigned to the list of assets, means the machineries. They operate machines, so they're all assigned to the machines. They don't assign to the jobs. They operate on the mission, so they based on the mission allocation. The job is assigned to the mission. Automatically, the jobs belongs to the particular operator. That's how our system is calculating on that. So you can create a plan. Once you have the one, you can create a plan, and then you can enter the job code. You select which work order you are fulfilling in this job is to fulfill which work order. And based on your part code, other things, it basically see that you can automatically comes with the starting time and ending time. All the stuff is coming here. So also it is also calculating based on the work order timing and all. So all this information you can create it automatically. More important is from the production monitoring, right? Let's take a look at from the monitoring aspect of that. From the monitoring aspect of that, one of the biggest thing you need to use that is the controllers. You can also download from our mobile apps. You can also use it from our mobile app. So right now I'm triggering some events from the mobile apps to keep generating some kind of reports for you to demonstrate you. So you can use a mobile app to send data, or they can also log into the web portal. They can also enter it. We don't need to enter every data, since it is a IoT based or manual, either way. IoT based means you get a data instantly from your IoT platform, IoT based solutions. If we use our platform, you will get it instantly on the IoT based connectivities aspect of that. But if you are using an app initially, and you can use the app to send that, but you don't need to use the app for every minute or seconds, which is not practical. So the way that we calculate the system is within our basis, we are calculating the metrics. So every hour, based on the data that you are entering, we can reduce it. So the operator can enter the data from the quality, from the production standpoint, from the quality standpoint. They can enter the data as and when 15 minutes once, or maybe 30 minutes once, and like that. But it depends upon how you want to set the process. That's why we said initially the process is very crucial here. Now, in the coming here, right, you can select a particular asset. The asset is already running. So because I started this asset before, so it's stating as asset running. Now I can produce the quantities, right? You can see the order quantity, you can see the quantity produced, number of scraps are created. So I can increase it. I can create by by 5, 10, maybe one scrap quantity. So I can keep recording here. So that way, these data are feed into the system to start tracking the actual production quantities. That's a simple way to do that. But you also, as I said, you also connect with the IoT. If you have IoT connectivity in your missions, you have a PLC system which can send the data to the cloud. You can also use following cloud to send the data to the cloud and configure this into the system to send the data to the SFactrix system. We have conducted previously, I think last webinar we conducted on the integration of machine to the SFactrix solution. How do we achieve it using IoT platform, using following IoT platform? So you can also watch that webinar video in our YouTube channel if you haven't watched that before. It helps you to understand the holistic picture of how the end-to-end solution is working. So okay, as a plant manager or line manager, now I'm coming here. I logged into the system. I'm looking at the data. Okay, now I'm seeing this data. So this particular machine that I wanted to understand, because this particular machine is one of the key mission that primarily contributed to the production. So I wanted to understand this particular machine aspect of that. So I'm pre-configured it. If you want to change your missions, you can select it different missions. There are a set of missions that I already have a provisions, so I can select any different mission and then any different metrics I want to set up. So these cards and all, dynamic cards. So you can set up as you prefer, as a user you prefer. You want to set a different mission, different metrics here. Instead of OE first card, you want to set up availability, or you may set up all 4 missions, right? Mission 1, mission 2, mission 3, mission 4, all 4 of them. You can set up OE alone. If you are interested only in OE, you can just set up OE for this card itself. So it depends upon what you're setting. So right now I have set up in this particular machine, which is what I have operating, which is right now based on availability, it is producing that. And this machine has started running, 2.5 hours back, basically. So you can see that, how long the machine is available. Before that, it was in a planned downtime. If it's a faulty downtime, which I will show you right away, you can see that, the fault also recorded here. So right now it was planned down, and then the production started at 8 a.m. my time. So now it started working alone. I live in Chicago, so it isn't showing my local time here. So so this shows the time that machine started operating, and then how long it is running efficiently. At the same time, you can also see the right side, the scrap quantities. Again, this all you can change it, if you want to change a different one. Scrap quantities, you can also see here the scrap quantities and the total quantity produced each hour, how much quantity is produced, right? Let me bump it. I'm going to trigger more quantity. Right now, you can see that it is 13 quantities. So I'm going to trigger a little more quantities now. Let me take 5 plus 5. Yes, submitted. Now I'm going here. And by the way, you can use your, see now it's 18. So you can use the mobile app that we provided. You can download from the mobile app and you can use it, or you can use from tablet, or if you have IoT connectivity, yes, you can use IoT connectivity to send the data, or you can send the data to the cloud through following platform. So you have different ways to send the data to that. The basic first step would be simple and easy. Use the operators, provide digital displays or digital devices to operator, maybe a mobile app or something, so they can use that to record the entries. So that way, you can validate that, how efficiently your process is working before you invest time and effort in building a complete IoT-based, fully automated solution. So this helps you to validate your investment before you invest in IoTs. And then you have a work order performance. This is one of the critical things that you can see here. So right now, this particular work order is, I was testing it with some data. So it was some bumps on here. On some of the days it's completed. So it will give you the metrics of the day, from when, from where, from when this mission, this particular work order, started producing, coming up. So basically, in a work order, right, tracking your work order progress. Every day we should know that how much the work order has been accomplished, right? So every day there's a production is happening. Let's take a work order is to deliver 2,000 engines to a particular automotive customer. So we have to deliver that to the motors, right? Let's take motors. Then every day there is a production happening. Every day we know that what is our ratio of production completion. So this particular chart will show you how much it is completed on a particular day. So right now I can show you that, it is right now 25. So I will zoom in. So you can see that, it started working from today. Before that, there was no production. So after working from today at 2, it started going all the way to that level. So slowly the product is improving. So when you look at the overall metrics, you can see the progress of the work order. Once the work order is completion, it will move on to the completion state on that. And also, you can see the status of the asset and which are running, which are not running, all the stuff. Main thing, especially from production monitoring aspect of that. Let's go to the reports. The reports are very important, right? So so you can see here, there are 4 type of reports that we talked about earlier. There are 4 type of reports that we are producing. So one of the thing is, right, you need to select the asset first. So let me select the particular asset which I wanted to monitor now. Okay, this is same as that, and this is today's performance of this particular asset. If you want to see this asset, like, how is this asset is particularly performing from the OE aspect of that, last 7 days, last 30 days, you can also choose and see that, in the progress. Last 7 days, not much, because I did not start last few days this particular asset, my tested assets, but you can see here, some bumps are there. So these are all showing, like, how much this particular asset has been utilized so far. After August 11th, today is the day that it is producing. August 11th, it was up to 100% OE. So that's kind of a model that it will show you the metrics on the particular asset. So now this is on performance, right? Let's go back to the today's one, because the more data is here. So now I will go to the time-based metrics. Okay, so time-based metrics, where you can see here the machine was down. So either it's when it coming to here, right? It doesn't matter whether it's a planned downtime or usually the machine is or faulty downtime, right? End of the day, it's a downtime, right? It's a production loss. So if you are looking at the optimization, you need to know that how much my machine is overall available, which is typically in 24 by hours, right? So it's available, and then how much I'm utilizing that. So if you are not utilizing more than 8 hours, 16 hours, 2 shifts, 16 hours, then you still have opportunity to increase that, right? You can get you can still production more if you're running a 3 shifts, right? So this shows that how much my machine is available in a particular day, particular time, and how much I can utilize the machine more effectively. So runtime versus downtime is coming here. You also can see here the planned production versus scheduled loss. So when planned production, right, this is all down, and this down hours, right, it's all considered as a scheduled loss, because if we schedule a production at those time, right, we should have made a lot more deliveries by the time. So we did not do that. We did not plan it. So this is all scheduled loss for that. But once the machine is started, it is efficiently running. So you can see here 14 minutes of at 8 a.m. it was executing 14 minutes out of the total 8 a.m. 1 hour time. So but next 2 hours it's perfectly working, so no issues at all. Similarly, net run rate, right? Net run time. Net runtime is the quantity produced. To produce the quantity, how much time it took. Let's take this particular 1 hour, it took 50 minutes to produce the total lead time. So there is a significant lead time difference here. So we need to look at average on that to find the average of this net runtime, to figure out how much this particular machine on average is producing it, so that we can update the lead time or lead time of the particular machine, as well as the product that it is producing or the item that it is producing. The other one is the last one is the actual production versus quality loss. The production is happening, yes, of course the quantities are produced, but how out of which how much is lost, right? So that's a time based, right? It's also based on time. So basically, to produce a 60 count, let's take this lead time is 1 for this particular asset. The lead time is 1 minute. 1 minute, 1 product is produced. Now out of 60 minutes time, how much time this machine has effectively produced? So even though it produced it was running full 60 minutes, right? But still 6 minutes is lost because of the quality issues. Remaining 54 minutes only, the machine has been effectively utilized. So in a minute, in a minute time, or sorry, in hour time, this particular machine can produce 54 products. If you look at the one hour, 1 minute lead time, right? So basically, it can produce in a 1 hour time. It can produce only 54. That means it's not 1 minute per product, right? It is basically 1.2 minutes per product. So it is little bit above that level. So that means the lead time is more lead time is required for this particular machine. So we can address this machine. Okay, this machine is taking more time. So how do we increase this? What is the process that we can change it? Maybe raw material, why they're taking more time to fulfill the raw material, maybe some fault, maybe some frequent fault happening on the belt. We can change those things to improve it. So identifying that how much loss is based on this, right? Now, this is all based on time, right? In each hour, what is my loss? What is my run time? What is my net run rate? What is my loss on the particular hour basis? The same way, you can also look at loss basis. So in the loss basis, you have a percentage based on that, the percentage of loss, right? So you can see here, because the machine was down, so it's all 100% loss because the machine was not used. Availability is 100% loss, performance nothing because no machine is available, and the quality also nothing is produced, so there's no quality to count on that. So obviously the machine is fully down, and then suddenly the machine started running, so there is no downtime here, there is no loss here, it's all green or no loss time. But you can also see here that there is a loss here. See, in this one, 81% performance loss. So still now, because while this session, right, I'm not operating the machine effectively, I'm not producing the quantities effectively on this. So let me bump it out, right? Let me bump up the the count. So I will show that okay, now I produced more quantities. So I'm going to the performance loss of this particular, not this one, this particular machine. Yeah, you see that it is coming down. So basically performance loss earlier it was 81. I produced 5 quantities to bump up the performance. So now it is coming down. So the performance loss is coming down. So within the 11 to 12 a.m. time, how much the machine is producing it? Can we increase that quantity to reduce the loss on the performance? So this also helps to identify that. This is all real-time data that is coming from the operators. The moment operator entering the quantity and the quality checks, the data is coming here. And as soon as the data is coming here, the plant manager can quickly look at it or periodically look at that and take some steps on that. That's how you can match that. So also you can look at not just today's data, but you can do the historic data, and based on historic data, you can look at your metrics, how that. So this particular machine is not even running. Let me go to the time based. Maybe it shows some good values. Yeah, you see here the net run rate and all. So you can see here, that of course I did not produce the data at all, but you can see that last 2 days, it's how much it is efficiently capturing it. So this is kind of information that we can capture it in the system itself. So SFactrix is not just a OE software. It is not just a metrics tool. It is a tool that can help to capture the data, identify the work order, progress, cost, and how much it is efficiently running. How do we improve that operations? So all of them we can look at in the whole system. Going back to the session. Okay, so after this, one of the things that I wanted to cover, right? Let me run this. Okay, so now we have seen the demo, quick demo. The more detailed demo is there in YouTube channel. So if you haven't watched before, you can watch this after, and you can connect that. So especially when you're are deploying or when you're applying the production monitoring solutions using SFactrix or any other tool that you are designing that. We have identified setup based on our implementation practice, our experience working with manufacturers. We identified that the set of best practices that we should follow or we should apply while deploying this kind of solutions there. Number one is, before even go to the IoT based implementation, before even directly running that, we need to simulate the test run, right? Test line has to be applied. So test run should be done at the field level, especially with operators. So configure your product, plant, work center, asset, especially the lead time properly, the lead time and ideal cycle time properly on the system, so that your metrics are not messed up, because the whole system is calculating based on that only. So you need to configure it properly on this on the system. So simulate the data to ensure that is that in line with your current state of data. You already have some kind of data that you would have collected in Excel sheet manually or anything, right? You may have some history of information. When you are applying this solution from us, you can apply the current, you can configure that as it is and capture and make sure that it is in line with your current data, or maybe a little more efficient. Then you can go to that. So second thing, as I said, ideal cycle time, lead time, very, very important data that you should enter when you're setting up your factory setup. Third one is every mission data, sometimes, historic data is coming from the SCADA system, and that's sent as a bulk data. Since the system, the whole SFactrix system is created in a time-based model, so it is all based on the time and events. So don't send bulk data to the system. It won't process it. You will see every bulk data is happening in a particular window time. So it is better to send all mission data in a real-time basis uniformly, or maybe in a periodic basis, like 5 minutes once and things like that, periodically as an individual mission data, so that your data will not mess up here and consolidate here. So don't send the mission data as a bulk model. Send the mission data individual models. Therefore, the model and predictions happening within the system is efficiently calculating based on the missions type. Have used web controls that I showed, right? The web controls is the very important piece before you to take it to your operators and start operating, because web controls will help you to understand how the system works, and then you can train your operators. The last point is training the operators. Very, very important when you're applying these digital solutions to the factory setup, especially operators are not used to this kind of technologies. So there will be hesitation, as well as they don't know what to do that. So we have to educate them properly with proper training and repeated training, especially constant training, to be given to them to make sure that they understand the system, how the system works, and they feed the data properly. There should be some self-discipline also, right? And that should be practiced with the operators to make it more efficient. Finally, before I conclude, if you are looking at this solution, right, you can, of course, this product is completely, this product is free for SMEs to use up to 5 assets using our mobile app and desktop app and all. So you can download our mobile app and you can configure our system. You can go to our website and register and create an account. You can configure yourself by watching our webinar videos. You can use the system by yourself. You don't need any help, any approval or anything required from us. At the same time, we also provide as a bundle solution. So if you're looking at more IoT based solution, bundle solution, you can approach us and our team can help you to set up this one. So we provide as a bundle solution with the routers, IoT based gateway routers, with a predefined 5 assets connections. 10 hours of our support team will help you to configure the system in your setup. And of course, it is all the hardware and everything is bundled together as a yearly subscription. So you can buy our solutions and you can use our solutions as a bundle solution if you're looking at the complete execution instead of going through the your own setup. And if you need any help, of course, we are here to help you out. That's about it from me, Sansia. I think some questions are there. Can you read it out?
Thank you, Hari, for that insightful session. I do have a couple of questions, starting with, can SFactrix be used for process industries like food and beverages, chemical and pharmaceutical?
Yes, definitely, yes. This can be used in processing manufacturer as well, because end of the day, either it's a process or assembling unit or discrete manufacturing. End of the day, you have to configure the material or part, and then you need to configure your missions that you are using, especially the larger missions, which you wanted to critical missions, which you wanted to monitor and track it. And both cases you can apply it. There is no limitation on that as far as we know, and there is no limitation on that. And yeah, it can be applied.
Okay, the next question is, can SFactrix also show metrics like TEEP in addition to OEE?
TEP, yes. Actually, we are right now we are showing the TEP as a overall. If you look at the loss matrix, right, the production loss, they are all calculated based on TEP only. So TEP is what your overall mission, overall asset time, overall time, and then how much OE is timing is, right? So it's basically that. So if you go to our loss-based metrics, they are all calculated based on TEP. It's not explicitly saying TEP, but it is basically breaking down the TEP into 4 pieces and then showing you on the losses, on the total availability, how much you have utilized on that. Yeah, it is there, but we are working on some TEP. We early introduced that, but there was some issues, so we have reworked on that to efficiently calculate that. So we have now TEP. It's coming up in subsequent releases. I think next release or following release, we have the explicit TEP metrics coming in the system. And every time we update the system, all of them roll out to our cloud solutions. So no cost to customer. So it's all coming. Every new feature that we are introducing, all the subscribers, customers can leverage those features without anything, even for free users, right? If you are a free user and you want these updates to apply to you, yeah, if it is applicable to you, then it will definitely apply to your system, to your account as well. Therefore, you also get the benefit on this.
Okay. So the next question is, how long does it take to implement SFactrix for a medium-sized factory which does not opt for IIoT solution at present?
Okay, this depends on number of assets. So typically, some of our customers, very large companies, but they also using our systems. They set up 5 assets within basically setup is very simple. Okay, so hardly it takes to set up the environment. Hardly it takes maybe an hour to configure all the setups if you are very clear with it. But to roll out to the operators, right, you need to train them and educate them. That may take few days for you to roll out to the operators to efficiently use it. To set up time is very, very easy. It's just an online subscription. You just go and download it. You just go online, subscribe to that, and then you can start setting up. We can quickly set it up within hour time or 2 hours time if you have all the data ready with you. Only thing is, I highly recommend that setup is not just that, but making sure that you do the testing properly with your data to make sure that your lead times are correct. Otherwise, your metrics will be wrong. What you feed is what your metrics, right? So you need to be careful on that. Also, your operators should be well trained on the app usage. Our app usage is very, very simple. It's simple buttons. Just they need to keep tracking it. So you are not using IoT, then you have to use our app. So when you're using our app, it is very, very easy, super fast to do that. But at the same time, train the operators very well so that they're not entering wrong data at the wrong time. So your metrics will be messed up.
Okay. The next one is, can the charts be customized as bar, line, pie, and other types based on user preferences?
Yes, there are 2 types of charts right now we are supporting the bar chart as well as the area chart that we are supporting. We are also working on other charts that are coming in future. But right now we are supporting 2 type of charts which can be used by any user. Individually, every user can set up their own chart type. They can use it, so they don't need to change. It's not going to apply to all users. Every individual can set up their own.
Okay, the last question as of now, does SFactrix support internationalization and localization at the moment?
Not really. Actually, our other products like Analytics Studio and all supporting other language, a couple of languages, but not in the SFactrix. SFactrix is not it done on the international aspect of that, but we are working on. So because we have a lot of things to introduce, a lot of features that we have lined up before we go to the language. There are a lot of functionality we have to add. We are adding a lot of metrics we are adding to for the existing customers. As per the customer demands. So language support will take probably next quarter, maybe early quarter of 2022. We will have the language support.
Okay. Thank you, Hari, for your profound answers. Guys, do you have any more questions?
If no more question, I think we can wind up the session. I guess it's already 2 minutes beyond the limit. I think so. Thank you, everyone, for joining the webinar.
Just to update you all, this webinar will also be available as a recorded version on Factana YouTube channel. So you can definitely still access this particular webinar. Thank you all for joining. Thank you, Hari, for a wonderful presentation.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Sansia. Have a good day.